If you're watching Succession, we have an unusual theory, and it might reveal who the ultimate villain on this show is going to be as they wrap up in the next few weeks.
Mind blown.
Such a simple thing. We got it for you in just a few. Well, if you're watching this as it's posted on Thursday night, you know that the Academy of Country Music Awards are happening as we speak.
I hope it's better than last year's.
Well, if you're here watching this, it must not be very good. If you're watching this instead. Last year, I mean, they moved it to Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime again this year. And, you know, the thing about award shows is nobody wants to see awards handed out, but you got to produce it right. You can't just throw people up on stage and think that's going to work.
I think in my personal opinion, a small, intimate setting is cooler and more where I would want to watch it. Last year, was it in Vegas? Was that where it was at? Where it was a half-empty stadium and people were spread out all over performing, and it just, like, they would go and line the aisles with like 2 people deep just so it looked like people were there. It was just...
But you could see all the empty seats next to it. They didn't do a very good job. So whoever, I don't know, directed or produced, whatever. So hopefully it's better this year. If you watched some before you came over here, or if you're going to go watch them after you're done here, please make sure you hit us up in the comments and let us know highlights. I got to be honest, since I haven't been keeping up with this kind of stuff like I should, and I just don't have a lot of interest in it.
Well, that's the problem with the ratings for the past few years. A lot of people are that way, and they overdid it. There was an award show almost every week for a while, and now, like the Oscars, and it's not just country music, the Oscars, Grammys, all of them are struggling to find ratings.
Yeah, well, because you're right. They did what everybody does. You find something that is successful, and then you try to do more and more of that, and pretty soon you water down so much that it's like, well, this is just all crap. We're not going to watch it. How many movie award shows are there? We just had the MTV Movie Awards the other night, and I didn't hear. Drew Barrymore, I had heard pulled out of hosting that because of the writer's strike.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't think they were going to do it live either. I think they just pre-recorded it and just handing the awards out, basically.
Feeling it for the writers. Hope that is over. Maybe over by, I don't think it'll be over by the time this airs, but hopefully soon after.
I hate it. Stranger Things has already been affected.
Severance as well, getting pushed back. 2 favorite shows. Pay these men and women what they want. We need our entertainment.
I posted a meme the other day. The top executives at networks and movie companies made $800 million salaries from all of them. The Writers Guild was asking for like a 20% raise.
It's the story of your life, probably the story of our lives. The people who at the top continue to get richer because of the way things are, and those of us, the worker bees, continue to get screwed.
That's what's happening in radio.
It's happening
everywhere.
In everything. I mean, just regular old companies. I mean, my wife works for a company, and the head honchos, they're not going to miss their bonuses, but they're letting everybody else know what a tough year it's been and how they're not going to be able to hand out merit to everybody else. It's challenging, and they're certainly not alone. Most companies are like that. Not to get off on a rant, but pay people what they're worth, and they will do great work for you.
Yes.
Simple enough. On the subject of Nashville with ACMs, even though they're not, I know, happening in Nashville, but we have some other Nashville stories. Let's talk for a second about the Taylor Swift Eras Tour in Nashville the other night. The big story was the storms that postponed it.
3 nights, and this shows you what a great entertainer she is. The third night, the final night of the show, there was a rain delay, and they pushed it back, and I mean pouring rain.
Well, lightning storms, too, thunderstorms, yeah.
So when she took the stage in Nashville, I believe it's $1,000 a minute. I could be wrong, but you get fined if you go past 11 p.m. with a noise curfew. She played to like 137 or something, but basically $157,000 worth, if that's true. That's a lot of money, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she'd give up that. Remember, she's making almost $1 million a night in merch.
She's doing just fine.
The cost to reschedule this show and find an open date, bring in all that equipment again, reset it up, pay the road crew, all that stuff, she got off on a bargain there.
And again, it shows the difference between people who've got it and people who don't. She could have just said, okay, we're going to push it off. And then all those people, a stadium full of people, walk away hurt, disappointed, sad. Instead, she gave them something special and different, and they'll talk about it for the rest of their lives.
That's what I was going to say. Some of my friends that didn't get to go, they were saying their daughters were upset they didn't go to this rain-drenched show because Taylor didn't wear one of her dresses. She came out in a T-shirt and shorts, and they felt like it was something special that no one else on the tour is getting, and they missed it. And then you think about other artists that are like, show's canceled. That's an opportunity to really bond with your fans.
Yeah, that's my daughter's, my oldest child and my youngest child. My youngest flew in from New York so that they could go to the show Friday night. together, so they didn't get rained out. And they said they had an incredible time. They're sending me pictures on that. I wanted to say, look, I get it. You like Taylor Swift. Okay, all right. I don't need a blow by blow. But it's just great. It's great to see music bring people together.
And she has engagement on an entirely different level. I don't know if you follow like TikTok Live. Every night she performs a song on this tour that she hasn't performed anywhere else. Everybody has started posting TikTok live stream of that song, whatever the song. So everybody knows now about the approximate time. Oh, I need to get on TikTok because I want to see what Taylor sings tonight. I mean, that's artist engagement or fan engagement on an entirely different level.
Very cool. Speaking of engaging on a different level, another Nashville story. This one not about anybody who's famous, or at least not before this event. Did you see the story about the hotel manager who was sucking somebody's toes?
I'm just telling you right now, Nashville, when we say Nashville's crazy, it's one of the top places for pickpockets in the world right now because everybody's hammered that's there downtown.
They're easy targets.
But now this toe-sucking guy who worked in the hotel made himself a room key and decided this guy, he's going to get a little treat he's not expecting.
How do you think? I mean, like, I wonder. I'm not to get off in a whole thing. How did he pick that person? Like, how did he decide that's the guy? I've got to put his toes in my mouth.
I don't know, but he
had big feet.
But I beg everybody. I send Rach stuff and some of my other friends that are songwriters and performers that travel how to sweep a room, how to check for cameras, how to lock the doors, and really protect yourself because it's crazy out there. And what's crazy is the police would not even put this guy in the police car once they got him. They had to call a tow truck.
I hate that I kind of knew you were going there, but I didn't remember, and I was roped into your stupid story. I already had ptomaine poisoning.
Thank you for jumping on board.
Hey, look, I'm going to back you up.
Thank you. That's why we've been partners so long.
A battle of the bad jokes. I'm in. Let's do it. And then one more quick Nashville story. This is kind of a feel-good. Whether you're a fan of his music or not, Walker Hayes, he's the fancy-like guy. I think it's probably how everybody knows him now. There's a hospital in Nashville, and there were a bunch of pediatric patients who weren't going to go to their prom. And so he brought prom to them, and they came in and they did a bunch of decorations, and Men's Warehouse partnered with them. And they performed, and he got the nurses to do the fancy-like dance with them. It was just a really great story. We'll post a link to some video in the description because I just love seeing people do good things for kids who need help.
And I'll tell you something else fun you want to watch. We'll put the link up. Walker Hayes was on our show when he first got to Nashville. He's got like a Justin Bieber haircut
way
from the
before
day.
He hit it big. Yeah.
And you got to see what he sings, but we'll have that link up there.
Yeah, I think that might be in one of our old archives on our channel here. So we'll get you over to the playlist where you can find that. But I'm sure he wishes that would go away.
For a price, it will.
Exactly. We're willing to negotiate. So the coronation happened?
Yes. Turns out we've got a king over in England now. And I still don't know what they do, but he's a king.
I'm blown away. It's almost like the Queen said, I won't die until Charles looks enough like me that people can't tell the difference.
Yeah, he wore like the same outfit almost.
It was crazy. We have a dear friend for many years who he's made this his thing. Like when this kind of stuff happens, he travels to London, he gets in the mix, and he looked to have a great time. But I'm like,
Well, I'll tell you, we put up a survey on Tony and Chris' social media of what's more important, the Burger King or King Charles? And it was a runaway for Burger King, which is going out of business, basically. They're closing 400 stores, and they still just destroyed King Charles.
It's no contest. I mean, I believe King Ralph could take down King Charles.
Yes, King Ralph. That's something that if you want to know about the royal family, that's what you need to watch. That documentary.
Forget the documentary.
That hit home.
Okay. First of all, not a documentary. Secondly.
True story.
Again, we got to do a better job. We got to hire a fact checker somewhere around here who can help us out with this stuff. I guess one of the big stories, and I didn't see or follow this, but so the whole Harry and Meghan drama, they somehow found a way to insert drama into this.
Well, she's in everything's drama, and I am not Team Meghan. I can tell you that right now. From the get-go, all the prep services we used to get and gossip sites, when they first started dating, said she will sink her claws in and she's about money. And I'm like, well, that's just mean. You don't know if that's true or whatever. But you look at everything that's happened. And soon as they got together, then she said, well, we're basically going to cut ourselves off from this family. I'm going to yell at y'all. I'm going to air all this dirty laundry, which she could, if she really wanted to work it out, could have kept it quiet. Aired dirty laundry and then said, we don't want any part of this family. And then they said, okay, well, we need your titles back. You can't be a princess or whatever it was. And then it was like, well, no, we want that. It's like, well, no.
You don't get to pick and choose.
If you have that title, you have to do appearances and you have to do this work. Well, we're not doing that. But we want the title, but we don't want to be associated with you. And then they took the money and everything. And it's like,
it's an ugly situation because, I mean, I know, too, that she faced a really tough time with the British press because those tabloids over there are way worse than ours.
Worse than us.
I know there was a lot of racism thrown her way, which, I mean, here's the thing. You're marrying into the royal family. You don't think there's going to be racism? That's what they do. That's their thing.
Is it? I don't know enough about them.
Colonization. That's what they've been doing there the entire time that this has existed, is taking over other people and making them work for them and be their slaves. I mean, that's what they do. So
no idea.
To walk into that and think you're just going to not be hit with some of that is going to be a little. But I wish it would just go away, because we talk about it all the time. People say, I don't care about this. This is one thing I can say. I truly don't care about it. I don't follow it secretly. When those stories pop up, I'm like, man, come on, just go on, live your life.
It's been kind of fun not doing a daily show to be able to see the news and go, not interested, instead of I need to see this to talk about it.
Yeah, totally. In fact, it's made me dangerously unprepared for stuff because I mean, I'm on social media, but I haven't watched the news, and I don't remember the last time because it's so hard. Like, I have to watch PBS to find unbiased news. That's the only place I can find unbiased news. It's weird. Happy Mother's Day weekend.
Not interested. Skip. Oh, no, we can't do that.
You have to be interested now because you got a double dose. You're married to a mom, and then your mom's still alive.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about mom. She cut out a long time ago. She bolted 30 years ago, so I'm good there.
30 years. Mother Day is free.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. And then, of course, Katie, stepmom to my kids, and then mom to our animals, but we don't have kids together.
We'll just do cards, flowers, a couple gifts, and take it to a nice brunch. That's awesome. Pretty much the standard.
I have something for Katie. I can't say what it is because it's important. I don't want to ruin it, but I think she'll like it. I don't know. I'll update you next show. It's either going to be something where she thinks it's really cool, or she's going to go, really?
This is King Charles bobblehead?
It is not.
Oh.
Is it too late, you think, to order one of those? Can I
imagine? I got you the first King James bobblehead edition. It's only going to go up in value.
That's right. I got some plates with his face on them. Hope you're going to have a wonderful Mother's Day. Hope you have plans for moms. Do something. If your mom is still around, even if it's as simple as a call. When's the last time you called your mom? Because I know that not a day has gone by that I didn't wish I could pick up the phone and talk to my mom. And I know there were times when I saw that it was her calling, and I ignored that call because I was doing something else, and I feel bad about that. I'm not trying to lay a bunch of guilt on you because I know your mom will already do that, but talk to your mom. Take the time. Someday you won't have that time. You'll miss her, unless she's an absolute monster.
Speaking of Mother's Day, real quick, and we'll just put a link up or something. Okay. My wife, Rachel, co-wrote a song a couple years ago that is about moms. And it's just really, and daughters, and it's fantastic, and everybody seems to love it. And we'll just put the tag up if you want to listen to it. We sure would appreciate it.
Isn't
Rebecca Lynn?
I was going to say Rebecca Lynn Howard's doing it, right?
Yeah, Rebecca Lynn's on it. She's Steven Tyler's bass player, and
nice.
And it's a pretty song. Everybody we've played it for, men and women, have teared up and cried. And I'm like, I'm the only person that hasn't cried, so I don't know if I'm in trouble for that or.
Well, you're different. You're not a big crier. I'm just saying you're not a big crier. You never have been. Don't feel bad about that.
But it's a song, and frankly, it helps us if you listen to it. So
sure.
Thank you.
Link is in the description. So it helps them. I get nothing.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not true.
Am I getting cut in on this?
Well, if I get kicked out, then I've got to move in with you.
Oh, God. Listen to the song over and over again as many times as possible. We don't have a ton of stuff to talk about as far as what we're watching, but a few quick little notes.
The Diplomat, thumbs up. That's all I got to say. Give it if you liked West Wing and 24, those kind of shows. House of Cards, give this a shot.
It's Kerry Russell from The Americans, and she was great on that, and others. So it's already been renewed for a second season.
It's good.
Excellent. Okay. And we just finished the first season of Florida Man, which I wasn't going to watch, but Katie watched it a little bit, and I saw a piece of an episode and thought, well, let's check it out. I would say if you want something that's not going to weigh you down, it's not a lot of thinking, just something fun, but still kind of a mystery and some action, it's great. Also great. And then we also saw a movie I was very excited to see, Renfield.
Was it good?
I loved it.
Because, Nicolas Cage is one of those actors you never know what you're going to get.
Well, it's true, but this role he was made for it, and I think he plays it very well. The young man who plays Renfield is fantastic. He was also in Warm Bodies, which is a zombie movie from a few years ago. He's great in that. Very good actor. If you go back a ways, I think he's the new Hugh Grant, which is interesting because he actually worked with Hugh Grant. One of his first movies, I think, was about a boy with Hugh Grant.
Oh, wow.
But we noticed a few times in the movie, I was like, God, he's Hugh Grant. So we may have a new Hugh Grant.
Okay.
But it was great. It's not for everybody. It's very violent, and I think there's going to be a little weird for some people, but I thought it was fantastic. A lot of laughs, a lot of creepy stuff. Nicolas Cage just being Nicolas Cage as Dracula.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, so let's give it a thumbs up on there. So now we're speaking of watching stuff. We're not going to get into a heavy thing. Obviously, Succession's still great. Barry's still great.
These are not spoilers that we know of.
This is just something that we thought we'd pass along, and it could be revealing before the show ends on the 28th who the ultimate big villain is going to be. And it's the weirdest way to know this. It's the type of phone that this person uses.
Little known fact about Apple and iPhones.
They'll let you use their stuff in the movies. I mean, obviously, we see iPhones all over the place, computers, the whole thing. But they do have a rule, and it was confirmed by the guy who directed Knives Out.
And 24.
Yeah, because they had this issue. Apple will let you use iPhones, but the villain can't have an iPhone. And if you'll notice, this season of Succession, really all the seasons, Logan Roy, who is arguably the antagonist, the villain, he was the only member of that Roy family who didn't use an iPhone. He had an Android. You know who else has an Android? Tom.
Could Tom be the bad guy?
I love Tom. I think his character is fantastic. If you watched last weekend's episode, the scene that he and Shiv have on the balcony is an Emmy waiting to happen. I think it would be very interesting. Now, again, we're saying it's possible. It could just be that they're kind of making fun a little bit of his, upbringing, and he wasn't rich from birth like they were, so maybe he has an Android.
Yeah.
But there's a very good chance that could be a big hint. Maybe he ends up being somebody doing some dirty deals that we haven't seen yet. Wow. And I think that'd be kind of great.
I think it'd be awesome.
I love that actor so much. And there's a movie on, I think, Netflix that he's in with some other guys based on a true story. I'll find the name of it. It'll pop up here. But it's a true story out of World War II where apparently the Germans found out about something the British were going to do. So the British made up an entirely fake attack and got the word out to the Germans just to make the Germans look foolish.
Oh, that's fun.
And he's in it and plays a big role in it.
I'll check that out. I love the fact that he works with Greg so much on Succession because he said he's never worked with anyone shorter than him because he's like 6'4.5" or something. Yeah. And Greg's taller than him.
Yeah, Greg's a giant.
So now it's like, for the first time in his entire career, he's actually looking up at someone.
That's awesome. Great show. We say it every week because we end up talking about it. But if you haven't watched it, oh, man. If you're offended by horrible language, I guess that would be my one big warning because it's loaded with it. Okay, but watch for that. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the Android phone is there or if they're just using it to bait us. And I guess that brings us to our top 5 memes of the week.
We do this every week. We hope you share it, too, and tell everybody how wonderful these memes are, even if they're old, because it draws people to our show.
Some new, some old, just things that made us laugh this week. Here we go. Number 5, we're going to throw in, it's a leftover from Star Wars Day.
Okay.
That we didn't get a chance to do, but it's a tweet from Gringo Brule. Wife, WTF is this pile of clothes doing on the floor? I struck down a Jedi. God, I hate you. Yes, use your hate. That's the kind of stuff wives love.
I love this.
And we can attest to this because we do it to our wives all the time, and they're big, big fans.
In mid-eye roll, if I've had a nickel for every time in mid-eye roll I hear, what's that from?
Katie's right there with me. She gets every reference. She just hates me for doing it. It's not that she doesn't get the reference. She knows what it's from, and she doesn't want me to do it anymore. But I'm going to keep doing it. Okay, number 4. We put up a thing on our social media the other day about the possibility of remaking Lonesome Dove, and almost everybody was like, "You can't remake this. It's a classic. Don't remake this. Don't touch it." And so this meme kind of goes along with that. Instead of remaking great movies, they should remake bad movies that were based on good stories but didn't meet expectations.
Ooh, I love that.
And there are a ton of them out there.
Man on Fire comes to mind. The original, I can't think of the guy's name. Scott Glenn and Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
And it was just bad. And then Denzel. Whew.
Yeah. So do that, because there are plenty of really crappy movies, especially in that 70s and 80s time period, where it was based on a good story or it was based on a book or something, and they just didn't have the money or didn't do it right. Do that instead. Somebody get this to Hollywood.
I love that idea.
Stat. I think it's great. Okay, number 3. Just a little cartoon. I love this. I think the young lady that does this, it looks like Amy Illustrates, maybe? I can't.
This is only for our intelligent viewers. So if you don't get this,
you'll know. Oh, I'm just going to let you read it. I think that's great. Stupid and great. That's kind of what we do here. Let's get a dad joke in here.
Yes.
Everyone, are you going to continue to post stupid memes? Me.
I love that.
I love we've always loved bad jokes, but since you've become a dad, it's even more. You really seem to just be reveling in it.
Lily hates it.
Fantastic. And then since Mother's Day weekend is upon us, we had to find something that made sense. And I don't think anything illustrates the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day better than this meme.
100% accurate.
And I think that's totally fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's such a different deal. And I think most dads are totally fine with that.
Yeah.
It's like, we know that mom is doing the majority of the heavy lifting, so let's make sure she gets that attention. Dads are like, yeah, whatever. So just don't give me another ashtray. Don't give me another tie. Don't give me anything. Just give me some time. Thank you for watching. Just a reminder, we do have the Etsy store. It's in the link, or the link is in the description, rather, and then there it is on the screen. Get in there, buy something.
Yes, and also thank us. We appreciate it when you do.
Mm-hmm.
We need it.
When he says thank us, we're talking about like on YouTube, on a short you particularly like, a super thanks would be great. We'll be, we have a live coming up. You can do things there. All that money goes towards upgrading, as we've talked about before. And we would just love to see that happen. And of course, as we try to make this a thing, like where we actually pay some bills.
Yeah. So share this and tell your friends.
Got a special guest on the show that comes up in a few days. So make sure you stick around for that. If you're a country music fan, you want to check her out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.